one of the most common things is people not being able to discipline themselves, especially based off of emotion, right? It has to be discipline. It has to be fear as well. The most common factors that traders struggle with has to be fear, and it has to be discipline as well. And how you can actually try and actually master that is extremely, the thing is, it's extremely simple. And I know that when something is in theory, it's much easier to hear it, but when it's put into practice, it's a little bit more difficult to implement. So how do we actually do it? How do we get to apply this theory into practicality so that we can actually accomplish and be the trader that you want to be, so you can handle any storm, and whether any storm that comes to you, whether you do take a loss. And I just want us to start with the fact that you should never ever say that you are taking a loss into the market. If you've been on my psychology talks before, you know that I always tell you that you are not taking a loss. You are borrowing money into the market, and you're basically borrowing the market your money. Because think about it, if that money was no longer accessible to you, then you would not be able to make it back. Now, if you are able to go back on the market and go and actually make that money back, that means that money is not inaccessible to you. You had just borrowed it to the market temporarily, and you should just go and take it back. Now, what are the things that you need to equip yourself mentally to go back into the market and actually go and take your cash back? Now, the first thing is you always look into what mistakes you did before, right? The first mistake that you did, maybe in this case, let's say, for example, you were being emotional, right? You were being extremely emotional, and you were just driven by greed, or rather, let's not call it greed, but it is greed. Let's call it longing. You really wanted, your dreams are haunting you. And now, because your dreams are haunting you, you want to make this happen now. You want to get rich now. You want to do this now. Can you guys hear me? I'm seeing some of you are saying you can't hear me. Just let me know if you can, because I'm ranting here, and there's no point if you're not listening, if you can't hear me. Let me know if you guys can hear me so that I can just continue with what I'm saying. Okay, well, people are saying they can hear me, so whoever can't hear me, unfortunately, then you need to maybe fix your network or your sound. But what I was going into is you need to go and look at what it is you were struggling with from the beginning. When I started trading, because I know that a lot of people would rather use my experience, and that would help you maybe because you might just be going through the same thing. When I started trading, I also was extremely reckless because I had a day job at the time, and I really wanted to get out of my day job. So what I did was I was just trying to make lots of money, like really quickly, because everybody else was getting a lot of money really quickly. So that's what I wanted. Like, I really just wanted that. That's all I wanted, so I was now being a bit reckless. I was hoping that, whatever account I would fund, because I was working a day job, it was very difficult for me to just take out, 20 grand and just put it into account. It needs to take a lot out of me to do that at the time. And I now was just being like, you know what, if I'm going to take out this amount, this account needs to be the one that saves me from everything in my life. And that was very problematic, because now I was looking for it to be my savior. So I started over leveraging. and I would just go back and I'd want to make my money back because I believed that I can actually make it back because I still have cash in my account. And I would just go back in and I would try and do that, and that was literally what I call gambling today, because that's how a gambler thinks. A gambler goes to a casino and then, loses money and would rather even trade in their watch just so that they can make that money back, because they believe that there's some sort of luck that's going to save them and they'll be able to make their cash back like really quickly, and if they have to sacrifice a few things. So that was the mentality that I carried as well. And it's a very poisonous mentality that you have, that you're going to be carrying if that's what you're going to be doing. I understand we live now in a generation, in a society where we look at things on social media, or we don't even need to look at social media. Sometimes you step outside and all of a sudden there's these things that you want, and somebody probably got it way faster than you did, and you're not feeling jealous for them. You just want it as well. You just want better for yourself as well, but you feel like things are just moving really slowly for yourself. And that's where the emotions step in. At the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you should sit there and not have emotions. I've gotten that a lot from previous mentors, not my main mentor, but the previous people that I looked up to as mentors would always tell me that emotionless trading is a game changer for you. And I understand that it is a game changer. However, I am a human being and I'm gonna feel it when certain things happen, when I make certain mistakes. But how do I fix that? How do I now say that I want to feel my emotions and I want to control them at the same time? Now, this is now where you are going to, this is where discipline comes in, right? You will feel what you're feeling. I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to feel that way, because you will feel it. Eventually at some point you won't feel anything anymore, because you would have passed that stage. But when you are still at that stage where you feel like, okay, this is a lot, there's a lot going on for me, I want you to carry the mentality of, number one, whichever feeling you are feeling generally. Let's say, for example, my goodness, let's say, for example, you have a partner, right? I can't believe I'm throwing this in. You have a partner in your life and you see somebody else who is attractive, right? You see this person, they are attractive to you and you're attracted to them as well. But you have a partner that you care about. So now you need to think to yourself, am I going to ruin my relationship with my partner and entertain this thought that I have and this longing that I have for a temporary fix? Is it worth it? You sit with yourself and you think about it. Is it really worth it? Am I really going to do this to myself? And then the decision you take will always impact whatever it is you are going to, whatever the outcome is going to be. Right? So I'm not saying that don't feel a certain way. Everybody feels a certain way about this thing over here. But what I'm saying is how you are going to discipline yourself will impact the outcome. Every single time you need to think to yourself, okay, because you lost cash, which is a mentality I want you to remove out of your head. I want you to say, because I borrowed money to the markets, because this is money you can get back, right? Because I borrowed money into the markets, I want us to use that type of mentality right now. What am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do about it? Because I feel bad about it. Sorry, guys. How do I turn this off? Oh my goodness, my team is not at the office, so this is like the calls that are coming in. Unfortunately, guys, on Sundays the calls cannot be answered. Just make sure you call bright and early Monday morning. They'll be here. So like I was saying to you, you feel a certain way about losing, about, let's just say losing the cash you've lost. Now, what do you do about it? You're probably not going to eat tonight. You're probably not going to talk to anybody at home. You're probably not going to, you're just not going to be yourself. You're going to cry, probably. You're going to feel so hurt. But some of you would just go right back into the markets with those emotions. And what are you going to do? You're going to go back and you're going to revenge trade. Now, that is where the poison comes in. This is you now, feeding in to the greed, feeding into the emotion. Now, this is the most painful trait. Now, what happens when you do this? This is now when you decide to take decisions that don't impact you in a positive light. There is more of a possibility of a negative income than there is of a positive income when you are thinking this way. So what do you do when you are like this? You decide that this is when you're now going to decide, you know what? Today wasn't a good day. It was not a good day. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close my computer and I'm going to see the market again tomorrow. It's not an easy decision to make, especially when you're new, but it can be easy. It can be easy when you've decided that this is what I'm going to do. Like, I'm going to do this, and it is what it is. I'm going to have to do this, because if I want to have longevity, if I want this account of mine to last, then I want to build this account. I need to understand that I need to be strategic about it, because if I'm stupid about it, I'm going to get a stupid outcome. So if I'm strategic about it, the chances of me actually getting the right outcome will be way higher. So what do you do? You go and approach the markets again on a clean slate tomorrow morning. There's no emotions. You now have, you've taken a breath, you've hugged a tree, for goodness sakes. You went outside and you took a breath, you took a walk, and came back with a fresher mind, with a proper mentality that, you know what, this does happen where you borrow money in the markets. But if I think about it, there's so much money that's being circulated in the markets right now. What I can do is look at the previous mistakes that I did and see what I missed, because sometimes it's not even a mistake. You believe that, I did everything right. I did everything right. Why is it that this is still happening to me? You just need to go back and see what you missed, because there is something that you have there is something that you might have missed. So when you go back and you reanalyze, you'd even be shocked at yourself that this is what I missed. This is what I missed. Okay, all right. So now I know how to look out for that. Okay, cool. Let's say you get into another situation again where you lose, or rather you borrow the money to the market. You now decide that I lost, right? I did borrow money to the market. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look back at the things that I did, at anything that I missed, right? What did I miss? What exactly did I not up now? For me to even, participate in this type of market, do I even know what I'm stepping into right now? So you need to first look at those things before sobbing and crying yourself to sleep. That is not going to make you money. You want to make money, right? So what you need to do is you need to go back and look at exactly what it is that you may have been overlooking. Even as a trader generally, there may be a certain thing that you are overlooking, whether it's because of, any kind of fundamentals as well, those type of things as well, because sometimes, even as technical analysts, traders, they're sometimes, fundamentals do give you confirmation on what it is that you saw when you were analyzing your chart. But now sometimes they clash. Sometimes the fundamentals would be saying that this is what's supposed to be happening in the market, yet it doesn't happen that way, and it happens the same way it would happen when you're looking at it through technical analysis. So sometimes it clashes. So you need to look at those type of things. There are so many contributors. There are so many contributors to what it is that you would have missed when you may have missed your target. So never ever just take it as, I've lost, it's the end of the world for me. And another thing is, you'll always be impacted more if you don't manage your risk correctly. If you don't manage your risk correctly and you don't manage your risk correctly, and you know that if the market had to go in the opposite direction here, my account is done with, and you this is not money you're willing to lose. You can't do that to yourself. You can't do that to yourself. Everybody started somewhere. Everybody started somewhere. No matter how their success looks overnight, everybody started somewhere. And you need to understand that that's just how it's going to work. That's how it's going to work. The richest men, Jeff Bezos, who's it? Elon Musk, and this Benedict guy, they started in their garages. They had one computer. This is their starting point, and they kept trying and failing and trying and failing and trying and failing as well. Do you understand? You may feel like, but I'm no Elon Musk. I just don't feel like an Elon Musk. You're not. That's exactly why you have your own path. It's because you are not him. You are you. And as soon as you try and walk like him, you are no longer walking in your shoes. You are now walking in his shoes. And that's not your path. Your path is yours. So make sure that you do what you need to do necessarily, and carry a specific kind of mindset, and you will always be, on the brighter side of things mentally. You will always be on the brighter side of things. And if you apply rules to yourself, my favorite method is the 1, 2, 3 method. If you are in whatever position you are feeling in, whether you are feeling in a procrastinative position, whether you are feeling like you are in a position where you are just about to make a decision and it's not really smart, and you just need to, whatever the case may be, you applying the 1, 2, 3 method will be able to get you out of there faster than you can ever think, right? If you are feeling like, I need to go and I don't know what. I can't think of anything right now, but you need to go and do something important, for example, right? And you're feeling procrastinative over it. I want you to do something and apply this from now on. I want you to just say it in your mind. Don't say it out loud, because some people look at you and think you're crazy. It's okay to be crazy, by the way. You just go 1, 2, 3, get up and do it. Just say it in your mind. Just say 1, 2, 3, and then stand up and do what you're supposed to be doing. Simple as that. If you're like, I know that this is a bad decision, but you're hasty about it, and you know it's a bad decision, you're just like, sometimes when I miss out on, when I don't take this trade, then the market does go in my direction. It happens a lot, most of the time, because a lot of traders like to say this. It's so common. Normally when I exit, the market just ends up shooting and going in the direction that I expect it to, and it happens all the time. I know the markets will drive you insane. They do that. That happens. You need to apply methods and strategies, and that will have you, you will have a more peaceful trading life. You'll have such peace as a trader. Such peace as a trader. You applying the 1, 2, 3 method, you trusting your strategy, you looking at your strategy and applying it and just letting what's supposed to happen, you will be able to know that, okay, my strategy, according to me, has this percentage of wins. I understand that the success rate of this percentage, because I have trialed and tested it without any fear of, let me exit the market before, hey, what if it goes in the opposite direction and hits my SL? Let me just allow my strategy. I've managed my risk correctly, so I don't need to really worry about what's supposed to happen, because because this strategy, I have some sort of faith in it, because you maybe learned it from somebody that you look up to, or you've learned it even maybe from my lessons, or whatever the case may be. You've used one of my strategies, because I have multiple strategies. You trust it. You need to let it unfold, otherwise you will never know the true value, or the true outcome of that strategy. You will never know the success rate of it. You need to understand that that's the only way it will unfold. That's the only way you'll be able to know if maybe you need to be looking at a different strategy, or you need to be adding on to that strategy. You will never, ever, ever know, ever. So 1, 2, 3 method is the method from today onwards. You need to apply that method. It has helped